What could we learn from the management style of Elon Musk? I'll talk about that in this video. Hello, I'm Stephen Goldberg of Optimist Performance, bringing you practical tips and ideas on leadership, team development, and employee performance in the workplace. I just finished reading this article in Wired magazine about Elon Musk, and it was very captivating. And it was about his leadership or management style. And we all know, I think, that the guy is a genius and he's really driven to accomplish what he wants. He's very passionate about what he says is saving the planet from self-destruction by creating or changing the energy habits of consumers when it comes to transport, the automobile. He also works on solar energy. So it's really interesting to learn about his management style because his company, you could say, is very successful. It's highly valued. People line up to work there. People invest in it, buying stock. So when you read the article, you find out that the guy is kind of crazy. He's like a tyrant when it comes to his management style. And throughout the period that was covered in this article, which is pretty much throughout the history of this company, it hasn't been around for that long. His management style has been very erratic. He hires and fires people at whim. He makes people do what he wants them to do rather than using consensus or listening to what others have to say. If he has an idea, he'll just push to have people do it. So I wanted to talk about his management style and relate it to his human type. We call it the type of person approach. It's integrated into our leadership and team training programs. And the method or the approach was developed by Fritz Gloss, and he also wrote a book about it called Crazy Zoo, Know Thyself Made Easy. And it's a fable about zoo animals. And each of the animals, there's 6 of them that are featured in the book, and each one of them represents one of the 6 classic types. Now, everybody has a core classic types according to this methodology, and most of us have a combined type. So I'm going to read the type that we feel, or I feel, that reflects who Elon Musk is, and we call that the idealist type. And the main motivation, that's one of the things Fritz talks about, or we teach in this methodology. There's a motivation and a fear, which drives each of us. So we live to meet our motivation, and when we fear that we're unable to meet our motivation, then fear kicks in and certain behaviors take over. So the idealist, the main motivation is accomplishment, and the fear is ineffectiveness. And when you read the article, you really see how, he would sleep in the factory under his desk. He was totally, and is dedicated to whatever he sets his mind to do. And he doesn't accept people being ineffective. That just doesn't sit with him. He has to find a solution, whether it means being obnoxious with people, treating them poorly, whatever it is. He will do what he needs to do to meet his goals and objectives. The qualities of this type are: takes action, has a sense of duty, and the sense of duty, I think, is relative to his desire to save the planet, has a sense of duty and respect for the law, defends the principles of equity, of civil and legal protection. So he feels it's his duty to do what he's doing. And if he's being ineffective or somebody else is, then he thinks it's okay to take whatever approach is required to get back on track. And in the notes section, the greater the fear of ineffectiveness, the less the idealist is capable of manifesting the above qualities and may become impatient, aggressive, violent, excessively task-oriented. And that's really how it's described in the article. So I'll put a link to that article. You could check it out. I'll also put a link to where you could get this book, because it really gives insight into yourself and other people. And I mentioned before combined type. And the combined type is similar to the idealist. We call it the inspirator. And I'll just read the motivation of the inspirator. Inspirator is pleasure. And the fear is physical privation. And in the article, they talk about how obviously he's become very wealthy, and he's bought just in the LA, California area, or wherever he lives. I don't think it's LA, but it's in California. He's bought 6 homes within that region. Now, why does anybody need 6 homes? Obviously, it gives him pleasure or status. The qualities of this type: jovial, full of talent, good diplomat, protector, creates harmony, good in business. So obviously we see the good in business part, but maybe we don't see the other qualities. And the notes section: the greater the fear of physical privation, the less the inspirator is capable of manifesting the above qualities, and may overindulge in pleasures, have vanity. We see that with him. Be involved in too many things. That's another, perhaps one of his deficiencies. Be superficial, dilettante, indecisive, and have calculated generosity. I don't know him that well to talk about that. But the point of this book and this approach is that the idealist, which is the qualities we see the most, the motivation of accomplishment and the fear of ineffectiveness, and that's where he becomes very aggressive with people. The idea is for him to borrow or use some of the qualities of his combined type, and which I mentioned, the qualities is good diplomat, protector, jovial. So he needs to balance himself, and this is really the key of being a good leader, is to balance your negative qualities with qualities of another type that's close to yours that you could learn from and that you could use to balance yourself out as a leader, as a manager, or even as a team member. So I thought it was very interesting relating this article and these qualities of Elon Musk to this types of people approach, and I'll put a link to where you could check that out. I hope this gives you some insight into types of people and into the management style and how you could or how you need to balance yourself to be a better leader, better manager. Check out some of the other videos on the channel. There's one recommended for you right now. Check out also the articles in the blog section of our website. There's forms and templates, worksheets that you could download. I'll put links to that also. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk again soon.